Hey CBA parents, I just kind of talk you through a little bit of CBA vision. I want to backtrack and then forward track. It was 7 years ago, coming this December 1st, that we started with 7 children. We hired 3 teachers and asked them to volunteer the first month, so we had a little bit of income to pay them the second month. It's a very atypical start for a school. Usually several families come together and there's a philanthropist or someone funding the program, and that was not the case. And so we started, in fact, we promoted it as leave your children and go Christmas shopping. And then 7 kids turned to 10 kids in January, 10 to 14. In February, 3 teachers turned to 4 as Ingrid came on board in February. And you probably know some of the story leading up, and so God just continues to grow the school. That first group, the 2-year-olds, are now our 4th grade class. We've added some along the way, but some of those students have been with us almost since the beginning. And it's definitely been a whirlwind of 7 years. We're actually pushing 250 students this year. We have 20 months through 5th grade. So this is our first year that we've built out the whole elementary program. And I'd love to share with you more details, but if any human, including me, ever tries to take credit for this school, like they should be struck down by lightning. It's been a God-sized adventure. It's been a God-directed path, and I'm so grateful because He's the one that keeps providing for everything, every one of our needs. And so, but I want to kind of just remind you what the vision of this school is. We want to be a best practice school. And oh, by the way, we're doing that in a different language because we think that's also best practice. So the way we design our early childhood programs in kindergarten, we design it to be a interactive, play-based, where children are swimming in language based upon interaction with teachers, capitalizing on this small language window that starts to collapse by 7 years of age. And we see it. It's amazing seeing these little children speak with these native level accents. And here I am. I've been speaking Spanish since I was 14, started it. So that's been 28 years. And yet I still sound like a big gringo speaking Spanish. And their grammar is so much more intuitive than my grammar. They have to translate through everything in English. So I love seeing how we capitalize on where they're at developmentally. And then we found that obviously on a Christ-centered education, so they realize that as we're equipping you with an incredible skill set, we're doing it trusting that we're also showing you how much God loves you and His purposes for what to do with your skill set, that you're part of a greater mission than life for yourself, right? That we see that's where our culture is going. But that mission that we're trying to lead you to, that greater mission is a school's mission. It's our DNA. Partner with parents to inspire world changers through Christian intercultural language immersion education. And you know, we've had different talks along the way of what each of those buckets are like. And then we get to 1st grade, right? And then all of a sudden we go from a play-based build your vocabulary, oral fluency approach to now your brain is really structurally shifting. As Piaget would say, you're moving from a pre-operational thinker to a concrete operational thinker. And you can now use that oral vocabulary that you have to start building knowledge and literacy and arithmetic based off that knowledge. And so with that, we can start really getting into literacy, but in some ways it might feel like we're a year or 2 behind some of our neighbors' kids. I remember a few years ago we had a parent who in tears was just explaining how it's hard hearing the neighbor noise of my kid's already reading, and what's your kid's in 1st grade and just now getting going with reading. And as a parent, you know, I took my children on that pathway knowing that it's different than traditional schools in the United States. It's not different than most of your schools in high performing countries around the world. Leverage oral fluency until that window really starts collapsing, and then really start building knowledge. And you know, I can speak to my 4th grader when he started 1st grade. Like, he was at a letter A level, which is like almost your the AA and A are your most basic levels. It's the book that says ball, ball, cat. And yet, true to the research and what Piaget would say, about a little over halfway in the first grade year, the lights went on. We had been teaching them love of reading since he was born. He had the intrinsic desire to read, but he was dependent on us to read to him. And then this world opens up. And then, we see this trajectory now through fourth grade, where we see his MAP scores and how he's now reading at a post-middle school level in 2 different languages, because it's self-driven. We waited for his development to correspond with our curriculum, and so it appealed to his intrinsic desires. He wants it. He's eager to learn. And we always want to build a school and a curricular approach around where you're at developmentally, how you desire to approach the learning. And so, because we're made to learn. Why is school not fun a lot of times? Like, it wasn't for me. A lot of times school was just to pass a test. And to us, it's learning. And we want to gear learning to where they're at developmentally as they get into elementary. We also want to gear it towards what our national Common Core standards. So if someone should ever leave, our school, move to another state and go to another grade, their children are grade ready for that. But to do it in an incredible, engaging way. One of the project-based units going on right now is how to land a rover on Mars. I'm like, I never got that. I got, write down the bold-faced words, you got a test coming up. And everything was driven by external motivation of grades. I was just thinking the other day with this trauma of when I went into this 8th grade algebra class, and the first day there was this quiz, and I failed the 1-question quiz, and I was devastated, right? Because I was grade grubbing. I was driven by grades because that was my identity. That's how I could prove my worth to my teachers, to my parents. And it wasn't intrinsic love of learning. And we want to drive kids to learn. And so they're investigating and research, using the reading and writing to dive into scientific standards and apply their math to something they care about. They really need to land something on Mars. It's so different than my education. And so they can do that heavier research in the 4th grade level because we've now built them to be readers with the love of reading and learning, and our curriculum gears them that way. It's you go into class and you just see so much activity versus this passive reception of knowledge and this regurgitation of knowledge. And all of that is building towards more of the vision, which I wanted to end with. We're building towards a middle school that we envision to be a research and development approach to learning. It's going to be very minimal of teacher, lecture, and talk, and where kids are given the issue at hand. They've got to collaboratively work to create solutions, and in this, they're obviously working through standards of what we're teaching and objectives, but they're doing the learning, they're doing the adventure. And so we're currently in very exciting conversations with another church within the area, Holmes Avenue Baptist Church. We haven't signed the dotted line yet, but I want you to let you know that that's our intent. We're going to spend 20 months really investing into the area to make it into what we think would be a purpose-fit research and development campus. We're going to, Lord willing, as we lock that in, we're going to have some parent work days so you can be a part of it and get excited about this vision. And it's just a continued testimony of how God, it's His vision and He's providing for everything. We hope and are continuing to walk the path to have a long-term relationship with the Armory. We're going to invite you guys to send thank you notes, your whole family here, in the season of Thanksgiving, to the city officials who make this possible. And as we continue to cultivate that relationship, we trust that they're going to continue to make it possible, that we can have our elementary school right here, basically on the campus here at the Armory Park. And so these are the visions we want you to hear and be a part of, to pray with as we have things to finalize. And then we'd love for you to help be a part of making it happen on work days. And we're going to continue to roll out for you what that curriculum looks like to be a research and development school, and I'm getting really excited about it. But that just gives you a quick taste. You can be praying with us. You can get excited about what's coming. And I look forward, not just as a director, but even more as a dad, to be excited to do this thing with you guys and see our kids being formed uniquely for a unique century, to be empowered, to be equipped, to be world changers, to be part of that greater mission that God has designed them for. And I love the fact I get to do that with each of you.